Welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's your baby girl Gloria, and today I've got somebody very special. I'm actually honored to have her on my page, on my channel. I've got somebody I will allow her to introduce herself to you, who's going to be telling us about buying a house as a single person. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. So please, can we get to meet you?
Thank you so much, Gloria, for this opportunity. Thank you so much for having me on your channel. I'm really grateful for this. Hello, everybody. My name is Victoria, also known as Datnijagirl. I am a Nigerian, currently living in England. I am a nurse. I am a YouTuber. I am a TikToker. I'm a content creator. And yeah, I'm so glad to be here to share my little experience with you.
Thank you so much for coming, and I'm going to be leaving her, her link in the description box. How do singles buy property? Because I know how difficult it is to get a property in the UK. Being that we just got a property not too long, she just got a property not too long. So please, can you tell us what even prompted you? What convinced you to say, this time it is time to buy a house and not just continue renting in the UK?
The things my eyes have seen in this UK with UK landlords is enough to make somebody say, I want to get my own house. So I would say that is a major factor. However, buying a house in the UK involves a lot of things, a lot of mental preparation. And I would say I've been preparing myself for a long time. I've been going for house viewings for almost 5 years. At the point I was, ready at some point, and then I was not ready again. So it's okay to be ready and then not to be ready again. Always wanted to have my own house, like a place I can call my own in the United Kingdom. So I would say that's one of the motivations. Like I said, some landlords' behaviors, my own personal objective, and I am a family person. Even though I'm single, I've got my family around. Some of them come from Nigeria, usually, and it's just good to have your own place to host your visitors, because many landlords will not accept it, and there's just a lot of things around that. So I have always wanted to have my own place where I have my freedom, my autonomy, and it's your house. You can do whatever you like as long as you are ready to, foot the consequence. So yeah,
exactly, that's true. I know this question is like asking the Ghanaian what jollof rice is the best, or asking the Nigerian. Of course, we always support your own, but I got an old house, and I know you got a new house. Can you please tell us how or why you decided to go for a new build instead of an old build?
From beginning, really, new build has been my goal, my aim, and that's because I don't know, I just love new things. I love new things. I love that feeling of having something new. Don't get me wrong, I get old things all the time. I buy thrift clothing, I buy, it's not like everything I get are new, but I just love new things. And I wanted to get a new build for myself. And in fact, I even wanted to see, like, the foundation, the building, the everything. Like I wanted to see everything from, how it's being built up to when it was built, but I didn't have that opportunity. But yeah, I love new builds. And with old builds, sometimes I feel like it would be so stressful for me, especially if I needed to do renovations or, start fixing things here and there, which is not true, by the way, for most old builds. There are many old builds that they're in good shape, and you pack in, you might not even need to do anything really to it. But for me, I would say it's just personal preference. I mean, in the future, I might buy an old build, but for my first home, I wanted it to be a new build. So it's nothing against old builds. It's just my personal preference. Yeah, and yeah.
Perfect. That makes sense. It's okay. Can you please quickly take us through the step-by-step process of buying a house as a single person? I know it's going to be a bit lengthy, but as quick as we can. I'm trying to see it in comparison with buying as a couple or with more than one person. How was the step for you? How quick and how easy was it for you?
Okay, buying a house as a single it's really may not come easily as buying as a couple. That's because even the Bible says two are better than one. When two people come together to do something, you should ideally expect that it will be easier, it will be faster compared to when one person is doing something. So I would say buying solo is not as easy as buying as a couple. However, the key to this is knowing what you want and knowing, not really knowing, it's good to know what you want, but the key to this, I would say, is knowing what your capacity is. So you can't compare your own capacity as a single person or as somebody buying solo with someone or with a couple who are buying together. So knowing your capacity means you know your financials, you know what's affordable to you, you know the documents that you need, the things that is needed by the mortgage advisor, the solicitors, the home developer, or the agents that are selling the house. You know everything, and you are ready to give it to them. So basically, it starts from viewing. I would say by the time you start, you don't have to go view with the intention of buying right away. You can just go view and just go see, just feed your eyes, see what's around, see how much it costs, see the house types, see what you like, what you don't like. The more viewings you go for, the easier and faster you'll be able to say, oh, I think I like this house type, I think I don't like this house type. And the easier it will be for you also to know, oh, this is not within my budget, this is out of my budget, oh, I can afford this, oh, I cannot afford this. So there are a lot of mortgage calculators online that you can use to actually help you determine that. And I've also got an ebook which you can download. I will liaise with Gloria. It's probably be put in the description box. That will help you with the step-by-step guide on what to look for and things to do with the process. So basically, you go for viewing. You reach out to the agency or the home developer and say, oh, this house, I'm interested, I want to buy it. You will have probably seen the amount online. Sometimes you are able to negotiate if it's an old build, and sometimes you might not be able to negotiate, especially if it's a new build. However, there are other things that you can get for new build. There are some incentives that may be available to you. So for me, one of the incentives that I got was a 5% contribution by the builder. And I didn't just get it like I just got it. There are some steps that I took. I was on their email list. So they sent emails around and I took charge of the opportunity at that time. And I was able to get that incentive and, get the house at that time because I was already preparing. I was already planning. I was already almost ready. And, everything just fell in place. My case was the case of good preparation. I mean, when preparation meets opportunity or something like that. So when you're prepared, there's a higher probability of you recognizing when that opportunity comes and when to grab it. So preparing is very important. And then so I showed interest. After showing interest, I came to view the house again. Like I said, I've been viewing houses for the longest time. So I came to view the house again, and yeah, I love what I saw. And we talked about reservation. I paid for the reservation fee, and for the reservation, you've got 6 to 8 weeks with my own builder. For some other builders or for some agents, it might be longer, it might be shorter. Just make sure that you ask them and you confirm when your reservation fee will lapse. So when it lapses, that is when you do not get the mortgage process into motion before a particular time. Now, when that happens, they might say, oh, we'll give you back a percentage of your reservation fee, or you lose your reservation fee totally. So it's good to know which one it is. Information is very, very important. It is very key. So getting information, every information, there's no question that is a dumb question. I mean, it's your life you're signing away. It is your money that you're spending. It is you that is on the line. It is your name on the documents. So any question that comes to your head, please ask them. Ask them, be sure before you go ahead. So I reserved, and they actually they actually suggested their mortgage advisor to me, which was very, very helpful. Now, I know there have been some, stories of people who will say, oh, don't go with mortgage advisor, your developer or your agent suggests to you because they will most likely be on the side of the developer or something like that. But God so good, mine was okay, I would say. However, the solicitor, I wasn't so happy with them, but the mortgage advisor, perfect, because he's British, but he's got roots outside of Britain, so he understands some of the things that we do as non-British. So it just made the whole thing so easier for me, which I'm grateful for. So I spoke with them, and I spoke with the solicitor also. They requested my documents, and some of the documents you'll be needing will include your pay slips, your employment contracts in some cases. And because you're buying a loan, your pay slip, of course, must tally with the kind of house you are buying. Now, if you don't know, usually you are able to get a mortgage of around 4.5 to 5 times your annual salary. So you will have made a calculation yourself before you go ahead and say, this is the house that I want to buy. And that will help you so much to prevent a lot of stress for you. So yeah, they'll get your pay slip, if you're on a visa, they will get your BRP is no longer in use now. So they may ask for your share code. They ask for mine actually. So they'll ask for your share code, documents to prove that you are indeed a bona fide resident of the UK and you are employed. Now, for people that are self-employed, it might be more difficult, or let me say more challenging, to prove your annual income, except your business is really, really doing well, and you have a good income over the years, and they can say, oh yeah, with what we are looking at, you'll be able to continue and pay off your mortgage. But if you are employed, you've got an employer. I mean, it is your payslip will do the work, and your employment contract. Depending on the solicitor you use, they may actually request for other things also, which you will give to them. And after that, once your financials and your identification are all in place, they'll give you the go ahead. And then if your house is ready, then you can pay your deposit. Basically, your developer, your solicitor, and your mortgage, they are all in communication regarding you. Once the solicitor gives you the go ahead, they will let the developer also know. And in my case, my developer was so on point, and the home builder were, they were always in communication with me, in communication with the solicitor and with the mortgage advisor. So there was no lapse in communication. It was, it was just moving. That's why it's good to check out reviews online about solicitors, about mortgage advisors, about home builders, whether they are responsive or not. Because when you are waiting for information and the other party is not responding, it can be so demoralizing, and you can question why you are even buying a house at all. So it's good to do your research and know all that before you move on. And so after the deposit has been paid, next is to sign the documents, sign all the signables. Your solicitor is in charge of that. And then you agree on a completion date. And that completion date is when you go to get your keys. Now, before the completion date, in the case of a new build, there was a demonstration day. So it can be from 1 day to, I think, 2 weeks before your completion day, where they will take you around the house and show you how things work and things like that. I've actually got a lot of videos about this on my channel. You can check them out. So they'll take you through, you check everything, you ask questions, they'll give you information about how you can contact them during office hours, outside office hours, and things like that. And on your completion day, you come in, you sign your life away finally, and you get your keys. And yeah, now you are a house owner. That I covered everything. Yeah.
Yes, you did. But one question I've always had in mind, or I'm sure my audience will also think about, is, so as a single person, will you then be needing to pay more deposits, or do they require more proof of fund, or how does that affect your deposits? As a single person, will you then be needing to pay more deposits, or do they require more proof of fund, or how does that affect your deposits? Notwithstanding what type of visa you're on in the UK, does that affect? Will you have to then pay, like, let's say if it's a married person, or if you're buying, you may need 5%. In your case, will you have to pay more because you're single, or is it just the same percent as long as your salary shows that you can afford this?
Right, thank you. That would have been discrimination. And I know UK stands. I know UK stand on discrimination, well, in paper. So it is the same, basically, whether you're single or you're a couple. The benefit for couples is that, okay, let me use this as an example. So let's say you're buying a house of £200,000, and you've been asked to pay a deposit of 10%, which is £20,000. That £20,000 applies whether you are a couple or you are single. So if you're buying it alone, if you're buying it as a solo buyer, you have to present your £20,000 and say, this is the deposit, this is my pay slips, this is, the statement of account and everything that is showing that I have this deposit. If you are a couple, you are going to do the same thing. However, the difference is that they will be considering two people in this case. That is you and your spouse. So you as a solo buyer are not paying more than a couple. It's just easier for them, so to say, because they are two. And it might be easier for them to quickly gather that £20,000 together compared to somebody who is buying alone. So let's say I'm earning 40,000 per annum, and I'm saving £500 per month towards my deposit. Now, if you're a couple, you are also earning 40,000 per annum, and you are saving 500 per month. It's easy. I mean, it will be faster for them to gather that 20K together compared to you. It might not be so in many cases. It's just an example. It might not be so in many cases. As a single, you might be earning way higher, and you might even be able to match or do more than what the couple is doing. So it's an individual thing. However, on the part of the agents or the home builders or the solicitor or the mortgage, is the same. It is the same. It's whatever deposit you are paying that a couple will be paying. So they don't give you more deposits to pay because you are buying a loan, and they don't give you less deposits to pay because you are buying a loan. It's whatever deposit is on paper that you have to pay that you will be paying, whether you're buying solo or you're buying as a couple. Yeah.
Wow, that's actually good. So in summary, what I want to educate us about is for you to know that it doesn't matter whether you're single, you're married, you're triple, you're 20-pool. If you want to buy a house, go for it. Don't say because you're single or somebody's gonna not give you the mortgage because they think you don't have a husband or you don't have a wife. If you want to go for it, go for it. I know so many people. In fact, this is an example of somebody who is single, even as a married couple. Sometimes it's advised for you to even buy a loan, because when we're trying to buy, somebody told us, he said, Gloria, they will have advised us to buy a loan, like me buying first or my husband buying first, so that each time we're buying, we don't have to pay the second timer tax. If you buy your subsequent property now,
you have to pay tax on it. Yeah.
So we're being advised that it is okay to buy separate. Let's say I buy my name, my husband buys in his name, so that each of us, like, we can then buy two houses without having to pay the tax. You see, so there's no excuse. There's nothing stopping you as long as you're ready. And our lovely, lovely sister has explained that from experience.
I've seen people come to me to ask me that question before, you know, as a married couple. So the wife might be asking me, or another husband might be asking me and say, oh, can I do this by myself? Like, I want to buy by myself. Yeah. It's definitely possible. So even if you are married, you do not, I'm not advocating for this, but if you want to buy on your own, you know, on your own by yourself in your name, you know, as a married person, you know, without involving your spouse, definitely you can.
You can, yeah, that's true. Even when we did the scoring, like I scored myself, my husband scored himself, and then we scored ourselves together. And if you want to know more about this topic, is on her page. There's no excuse, there's no discrimination, there's nothing that stops you. If you want to buy a new house, buy. If you want to buy an old build, buy. If you want to buy a loan, buy. Single, buy. If you want more information on how to buy as a single person or buying a new property in the UK, please go to her YouTube channel. She has loads of videos. She did house tour, explaining everything, step-by-step guide. And like she said, I'm going to be leaving the link to the ebook in the description box. You can follow that and you can, use that to guide yourself towards buying your own property. So can you please just tell us your final word, your advice, especially for we the singles that want to buy property or anything, please?
I would say that if you put your mind to it, it's something that you can do. Like I said, it may not be easy, may not be as easy as if you are buying with somebody, but it's possible. It is doable. And as long as you have all the requirements, it's doable. And another thing that I know might be of issue is because you can only get as much as your income allows. You know, it might give you some, you might be at a disadvantage, I would say, with getting some types of houses, especially when their prices is on the high side. Because if your income is not commensurating with the house price, then nobody's going to give you mortgage for that house. However, you can definitely look out for houses within your own budget, within your salary threshold. And it's important also to make sure that you are following up with some of the houses that you have viewed, so that when the prices come down, or when there is an important message about the house that you are interested in, you'll be one of the first people to know about that update or that discount, and then you'll be able to put yourself forward. Like I said, when you're prepared and then an opportunity comes, it'll be like, how did you do it? How did you do it? How did you do it? So be prepared. If you are planning towards it, have a timeline in mind. Save towards that timeline, have an aim, have a goal, work towards it, and opportunity will come and you make use of it. So you definitely can do it. Yeah, you can.
Yes, you can do it. I like that last statement. Thank you so much, sis, for honoring my invitation again. Thank you for coming. We're going to be doing more collaborations and greater heights. And please, like I said, please follow her. We'll see you in our next video. Until then, take care. Stay safe.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.